Good evening, friends, and welcome to yet another very interesting session of Candid Meena. And in today's session, once again, we have the erudite, senior journalist Suresh Kochattil ji here with us. Sir, thank you very much for coming on our show. And in today's session, there are a lot of news, especially with the fact that there has been a shocking incident where Delhi CM Rekha Gupta has been attacked by a man in her office today. And we'll be talking about that as well as many other topics. Sureshji, if you're aware, today morning, a man named who suddenly attacked Rekha Gupta in her office today, and the motive of his attack is still unknown as of now. The police has arrested the attacker and is interrogating him. However, the reason is not very clear, and so this is a huge lapse in her security. It's not it's a very serious thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is something that we need to be extremely wary of because, it happened with Arvind Kejriwal earlier, but he set it up, the entire thing. We will pretty well know how he sets it up. Predictably, before any big election comes up, Arvind Kejriwal either gets slapped or he gets ink thrown on him, and then he will cry murder, and then he will kind of try and extract as much sympathy as possible. But in case of Rekha Gupta, I suspect, since we have no idea about why the motive, why did he attack, we will have to wait for the police investigation without jumping the gun. Let us hear what the police have to say, and based on that, we will take a call. Because the way I look at things is, right now they will say the man is mentally unstable because this is the easiest excuse to have. But the question is, what about the security around the Chief Minister of Delhi? After all, she's not a kind of a non-entity. She is the Chief Minister of Delhi, and being in the national capital, there should have been more security for her. And obviously, the question arises, why didn't it happen? And obviously, there'll be a lot of reviews that will happen. What kind of setting was she sitting in? Was it in close proximity to people? Did they go by the blue book? And all these things need to be looked into. But the fact is that a man was allowed to get so close to the chief minister, and maybe in the process of what looks like to be submitting a genuine kind of request or an affidavit, and then he kind of goes after her and slaps her. But take my word for it, the police will come up with an excuse saying he was mentally unstable and he was undergoing psychiatric treatment, and this is the reason why he did it. So let us wait for that. But beyond it, I think the main reason that arises is in Delhi, if you see, being a national capital, there are so many VIPs there, and all of them need proximate security. And the question is it being provided for or not?
Yeah, under what conditions, do they let people inside her residence or office? What are the conditions? Are they properly screened by the security team? Is also a big question mark.
Yeah, obviously, they would have been screened for anything they're carrying inside. There's a frisking that goes on at maybe 2 or 3 stages. There's a metal detector test, and but the point is, if somebody wants to physically assault a person, he or she can still do it, because that is kind of you do it with your bare hands. The only question is motives, and in many cases, I think politicians need to avoid the direct taking petitions directly. I know that happens in Hyderabad too. We have a Prajavani that goes on the old CM's office at Begumpet. Now the deputy CM stays there, but there's one minister who's deputed twice a week to accept petitions from people. But then in Telangana, because of the Naxalite threat, right from the MLAs to the ministers to the chief minister, everybody is guarded very, very seriously. And there's a lot of security that goes on. There is a 4+4 or sometimes 2+2 security that is provided. But in case of the Delhi chief minister, let us wait. But I think the publicity that goes with things like this is very, very obvious. Now, Congress will come up with an allegation saying that the people of Delhi are so frustrated. That is why they went and hit the Delhi chief minister. Aam Aadmi Party will say, remember, we told you so. And when we got attacked, you people are laughing at us. Now see the shoes on the other foot. These kind of excuses will come up, Jaydev. And I think what we're going to see is more of this, because the Delhi CM has been playing good role in the last 6 months. Ever since he got elected, that she's been going around doing activities, doing things, inspecting nalas and doing all kind of activities, which is what a CM is supposed to do actually in a national capital region. And I think maybe there was some frustration with somebody and who wanted to take it out, and this is what it is.
Yeah. So coming to the next piece of news, and it is all over the media. It is that 2 days after he flagged significant voter additions and deletions in the Maharashtra Assembly elections, psephologist Sanjay Kumar of the Center for the Study of Developing Societies has apologized and deleted the post, triggering a very big showdown. And the BJP has accused the research body of putting out unverified data to feed the Congress's fake narrative. And the main opposition has responded that it used CSDS data, but also corroborated its findings based on the evidence collected separately. So Sanjay Kumar deleted his tweets that alleged a sharp rise and fall in the number of voters in several assembly constituencies in Maharashtra and apologized for the error. So this is a huge error by the psephologist, isn't it?
Yeah, Jaydev, I think I've been tweeting about it since last night. I also did a couple of shows on Telugu channels about it. Now let's look at very objectively. Sanjay Kumar claims that his team read the Excel wrong. Now, I fail to understand how, say, a team of 30 to 40 people can read an Excel wrong. It is not just two people sitting there and looking at the data. So the first thing they would have done is we need to find a fault. So that is where they started their entire premise with that we need to kind of find a fault so that we can pin down BJP. And I saw Sanjay being interviewed by Arnab Goswami. I think that was the best interview. He was allowed to get off on NDTV with very, very kid gloves, but Arnab really took him on and asked him very, very pointed questions of what is source of funding. Now, look, his funding is coming from different sources. I never knew that he was getting funding from the Ford Foundation, which is a very, very obvious red flag. And then we had the Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation, of course, now the Gates Foundation. And then we had the Dutch government, the British DFID, you name it. All of them don't give funds because they love you. They give you funds because they want to twist a narrative their way. And that is what these organizations all do. The question is, what work did CSDS Lokniti do for these groups? There needs to be an investigation because they can't be just allowed to get away. I'll tell you why. He claimed that the data was read wrong, Excel. Okay, we'll accept that at face value. But then you sat on the data for almost 4 days till somebody pointed out the error to you. Even a kid could do that very, very obviously. Not even that. This same data was debunked almost a month ago when Rahul Gandhi first brought it up as a Maharashtra election. If you remember, a lot of those graphs have been going around, and even I have carried it in my social media. So it is very, very obvious that these two constituencies which they were targeting were targeted with an ulterior motive. Now, Sanjay claims that he deleted his tweet, he apologized. Okay, great, take it for face value. But the question that obviously comes up is, why did you write newspaper articles then? You wrote newspaper articles claiming that the election commission is kind of not responding to Congress. The election commission is not meeting 300 MPs when they had taken appointment only for 30 MPs, as he very well knows. And he went on with a lot of allegations against the election commission and BJP. Now, keeping the data on one side, let us look at why he wrote the article then. He has not retracted the article. He still swears by it. Even now he says, my data would have been only a small part of what Rahul Gandhi's entire data was all about. Forget all that, boss. You bungled up. You deliberately bungled up so that Rahul Gandhi could get a stick to beat the Modi government with. Now when they've been caught, people, jokers like Pawan Khera and all go delete their tweets without even an apology, saying that, look, we picked up the fake data. They wanted that data. It is not that CSDS Lokniti created that data. The Congress wanted the data that way. They wanted Mahadevpura to be twisted around. That also was, the bluff was called about that also. Then the Maharashtra was tried. Then they tried, Delhi. Then they tried Suresh Gopi with Trishur. Everywhere they have fallen flat. Now, Rahul Gandhi, of course, goes about his business, still calling it vote chori, when everybody knows that the entire thing was fake. Now, Election Commission is trying to clean up all that data by using SIR in Bihar. The same guys are objecting, saying, no, don't clean up that data because people will not be able to vote. When 65 lakh people have gone missing from the data given by the Election Commission, either deceased or shifted the constituency or duplicate entries, They have been given time from August 1st to September 1st to clean up, to come and say, okay, no, we exist, here we are. Not a single objection has come from any political party. The data as of last evening was 18,000 from individual people, 18,000 out of 65 lakhs. Now, when I'm looking at the process, the way it was going about and described by even the Chief Election Commissioner the other day in his press conference, how were the data deleted? How were these people deleted? Three categories, as I told you. One, deceased; another, shifted constituency permanently, that is migrated; or third is duplicate entries. In all the three cases, the local sarpanch was involved, the local political parties were involved, that is, the booth level organizers were involved in going through the data and finally arriving at the people who need to be removed. So obviously, Congress knew what was happening. And as Rajanna asked in Karnataka, the minister who was sacked by Rahul Gandhi, we are there. Our representatives were there. Now are we sleeping on this data? That's a question we need to ask. And definitely, what is going to happen now is that Rahul Gandhi will now shift his. You just see that he will shift his strategy now. He'll go on to another state and say, "This is what is happening." He picked up Bihar because there's an election coming up. He will not go to Bengal and say the same thing because then Mamata Banerjee will take his pants off. And that is literally what is going to happen in West Bengal. But he will try and do the same thing in Uttar Pradesh next because that the caste can play a big equation. Even the same gentleman, Sanjay Kumar, played up caste in a big way in his surveys. What is the need to do that? And he was asked by Arnab the same question as to why did you pick up the Muslim caste and work on that? He didn't have an answer for it. So it's very, very obvious that the entire thing was dovetailed to kind of give Congress an edge and Rahul Gandhi a stick with which he could meet the Modi government with. And he did it. And now everybody is backtracking, but Rahul Gandhi will not backtrack. We all know that. He has been repeatedly asked to apologize by the Supreme Court in various cases, right from Rafale to Chaukidar Chor hai. And in this case also, Rahul Gandhi has fallen flat. But what gets my goat, Jaydev, is the fact that the Election Commission is toothless. It is asking him to submit an affidavit, which they know he will not. Or they say apologize, he will not. Why you have so much of, you're a constitutional authority, you have all the power with you to file cases against him. Why don't you file a dozen cases against him and other party guys who are peddling the same theory and bring them to the court? The court will ask them for a proof. That is when the cat will be out of the bag. Asking Rahul Gandhi or expecting Rahul Gandhi to apologize is like foolish. I mean, what about BJP? BJP guys are sleeping. What is the legal cell doing? Their prime minister is being mocked as vote chore by the opposition, but particularly by Rahul Gandhi. What about BJP guys? Why didn't you file a police complaint against these people for calling Modi ji by these names? Nothing done. That is what is emboldening all these guys because they know that neither the election commission nor BJP is reacting to it. They're all keeping quiet. Hopefully that the thing will blow away after some time because if you arrest Rahul Gandhi, he will get more publicity. So they don't want to touch him right now. But I think BJP needs to get aggressive. Forget the election commission. BJP needs to get aggressive. It needs to file a dozen police complaints and across many states, drag Rahul Gandhi into those cases. And that is exactly what they need to do.
Yeah, and how do you see this playing on the Bihar elections? Do you think BJP is going to comfortably win there?
Yeah. See, there is no issue regarding Bihar. See, I'll tell you why. The moment Tejasvi Yadav said that I'm not going to contest, that entire game plan was out. It's very, very obvious that they're going to lose, and they're going to lose, and they have seen the writing on the wall because all these guys get surveys done, so they know where they stand. I mean, any political party that says I will boycott the election because 65 lakh people have gone out of the rolls is kind of fooling themselves. Because Supreme Court said SIR can go ahead, so these people didn't have anything to now fight with the BJP. Next, they said 65 lakh have gone out. Now the election commission has put out the data on each district website. What about that now? Will the Congress kind of counter that with data? No, they won't. Because they know pretty well that this entire vote kind of fraud that was happening for years now, earlier with ballot paper. That is why Samajwadi Party, Akhilesh still talks about going back to ballot paper because that is what suits them. They want that because then they can do the same booth capturing that Lalu used to do and Akhilesh father used to do. All these guys used to do that. They were known for that, notorious for that. And they couldn't fight regarding EVMs with the Supreme Court, so they gave up that. Now they're trying to fight with the election commission saying your data is wrong. Fine, was accepted. There might be duplicate entries. There might be, because we never had a SIR for the last 22 years almost. Last one in many states were done in 2002 or 2003. Now, people ask what is the difference between a SIR and a normal revision. In normal revision, they will just come to your doorstep and say, "Are you so and so?" You say yes, and they will just tick, or if you're not available, they'll say door locked, and then they will go away. Now, the SIR, it's more depth. They give you a form to fill up, physical form or an online form, and then you need to fill up the data, and you need to submit some documents that are asked for a certain categories of people. And after that, your kind of verification is done and you are on the roll. So it's a kind of a fresh registration that happens in case of an SIR, unlike the old bus system. With the new technology in place, and especially remember, Jaydev, Aadhaar was supposed to be linked to the voter ID card. And the same Supreme Court and the same Congress objected to it, saying you cannot link Aadhaar to the voter ID card, because then you can have your vote only in one place. Because clearly will show you that if you're registered in Bihar and then in Maharashtra, obviously they will catch you because the Aadhaar card number is same. Now the thing is, when Form 6 is being asked for, Form 6 already has a column for Aadhaar. Nothing new about it. The Supreme Court also doesn't know that. They say, oh, you insist on Aadhaar for people who have been deleted. Form 6 already has a column, but it was not mandatory. Now Election Commission is saying it's mandatory, fill it up, but that's not the only document you use. So this entire thing about CSDS, Lokniti was deliberately timed with Congress. It was done by Sanjay Kumar. He needs to be sacked by his organization first. He needs to be shown the door, and he needs to be prosecuted, because they tried to do a Bangladesh in India and they couldn't succeed. And that's exactly what Rahul Gandhi was trying to do with these foreign agencies, which we all know had done this job in Bangladesh and earlier in Pakistan too.
Also, the fact that there's so many lakhs of illegal Bangladeshi immigrants in India who's changing the demography of many states of India. And you see this huge threat to the for Hindus, especially in India.
It is because if you go to Assam, many constituencies, I think 21 assembly constituencies, the entire demographic profile has changed. The growth of population in Bangladesh is below their average growth since 17 till 71. Till 71, they had one type of growth, which is normally 4 to 5% every year. Now the growth is stagnated. That too in a Muslim nation. Can you beat it, Jaydev? In a Muslim nation, the population is stagnating. So obviously they have gone somewhere else. And they're all in India. Let this SIR go ahead. I'm sure Amit Shah has a plan up his sleeve. He will crack down hard, because it's very difficult to crack down, because there are certain states which provide sanctuary to these people. Kerala is one, Karnataka is another one, Telangana is one, and of course we have West Bengal, which is also another state. West Bengal is the biggest culprit of it all, because the entire factory of producing birth certificates, SSC certificates, fake Aadhaar cards, everything is done in West Bengal. And that is where the entire challenge is going to come, because sooner or later these guys will go and hide. Now she says she will give them 5,000 per month. Imagine, she's telling all the Bengali speaking people, she's not even saying they should be Indians. Mamata Banerjee said yesterday that all Bengali speaking migrants who are in other states should come back to Bengal, and she will give them 5,000 per month. Of course, those guys will never come back. I mean, right now I'm in Kerala and I can see work going on in a house just opposite where I'm staying in my in-laws' place. And there I can see two Bengali guys working all day yesterday till about 8 in the night. A normal guy in Kerala doesn't work beyond 5. And here these guys are working till 8 and they're getting paid 1,500 bucks a day. Unskilled laborers. So imagine this is Dubai for them. Why will they come back to Bengal and work where there's no work at all and just accept this 5,000 bucks? Obviously, they're going to get caught someday or the other, but let us separate these two things. Rohingyas is one issue, Bangladeshi is another issue. Rohingyas are not Bangladeshis, they came from Myanmar. They are also equally a big threat, but most of them are carrying the UNHCR cards, the refugee cards. So obviously they get a kind of a leeway with that. But we have not signed the UNHCR charter, so there's no obligation on our part to keep these Rohingyas in India. They should also be sent away, and they are being sent away. But the Bengali issue is the big thing, because the entire demography of West Bengal has changed, not from Mamata Banerjee's time, but even before that with the communists. All of them played the Murshidabad, Malda. You look at all those constituencies are completely Islamized now. and they all come from Bangladesh. But it's very difficult, Jaydev, now to go back and prove that they are not Bangladeshis because they are carrying every kind of document with them. You cannot find out whether it's a genuine document or a duplicate because that is the level of sophistication which Bengal government has come up with. Subsequent government, that is, be the left front or Mamata Banerjee, they are hands in glove with these illegals because they know that they serve as a huge vote bank for them. And as long as they are there, they will not kind of give BJP a chance. And BJP West Bengal unit, less said the better. They cannot set the narrative. I was reading a couple of tweets about that yesterday. Yes, it's correct. They don't take care of the karyakartas, and you expect those guys to work their heart out, I know, and get killed by Mamata Banerjee's goons. And this is what BJP needs to understand, that it needs to get aggressive in West Bengal. It needs to back its karyakartas. It needs to provide them security. It needs to provide them legal protection because they get arrested just like that by Mamata Banerjee's police. All these things are there in West Bengal, and I'm sure maybe Amit Shah ji has a card up his sleeve. You will see something happening very soon because he's made it very, very clear that illegals have no place to stay here in India, and that will happen sooner or later.
Yeah, so Suresh, coming to the next piece of news, and Donald Trump met Vladimir Putin just a few days ago in Alaska, and so there's a lot of controversy regarding this meeting, and it's like a theory that the Vladimir Putin who met Donald Trump is not actually him, but it is his body double. So, what do you have to say about this? Did you see the meeting on TV?
Yeah, I did see. I think that is kind of, it's an old story. Like Kim Jong Un is not Kim Jong Un. Here there are many like him. Even when his dad was alive, the same story existed then. I even heard of a story that the security of Putin was carrying a poop suitcase because when he poops in Alaska, the Americans will take that poop and go and analyze it to see what is his health like, what is his problems that he's facing. So, well, there are a lot of James Bond kind of theories that come with every time a Russian leader or a North Korean leader goes out of North Korea or Russia to meet his political opponents or even their friends. But coming to the more serious topic, I think what Putin did was a very, very good game. Trump wanted to basically arm twist him, but Putin gave away the entire game by saying that American Russian trade has gone up by 20%. I think that hit President Trump pretty hard because the entire world saw it. It was not in a closed room where Putin stood up in a press conference and said, "Oh, we are doing good business." Because then what happens is that the same Trump who speaks about India buying Russian oil had to change his tactic. Now they're saying Indian companies are making money. So what's wrong, boss? If we are making money, what's your problem? We are not doing, now they're saying not doing anything illegal. They're saying Indian companies are making a lot more money. They want American companies to make that money. Sorry. We are buying Russian oil at our risk. We are refining it in India and we're selling it to you. You are the ones who wanted it to happen this way. We are doing it. But on a serious note, I think Putin has made it very, very clear that there's going to be no going back on the territory they held, and they want Donetsk more territory from that area. They don't want NATO anywhere nearby because that is where the war started, actually. NATO is the biggest culprit in this entire exercise. NATO wanted to flex its muscles by going closer to Russia. And if you go back to the Cuban Missile Crisis, Jaydev, you will know how John F. Kennedy panicked when he saw the missiles being stationed in Cuba, the Soviet missiles. And then there was a deadline for them to be removed. So Putin did the same thing. He didn't want NATO sitting next door and, through Ukraine, whatever route it is. And then, Russia facing an existential crisis. No, that will not happen. I mean, NATO cannot have a role in Ukraine. Let NATO take care of themselves because they messed up every territory they've gone into, like US. Afghanistan, they messed up. Iraq, they messed up. Weapons of mass destruction. Along with the US, they went there. They went to Libya, messed it up. They went to Syria, messed it up. Everywhere these guys have gone, they have messed up the countries. And I think NATO is the biggest culprit. I think the sooner NATO is disbanded, it will be better for the countries individually because they can concentrate on their own defense budgets. Right now, it's a white elephant. It's a place where everybody is having a ball. And with 2% of your GDP being spent on defense, they were piggyback riding on the Americans. And now President Trump realized it the moment he got elected that this is not going to go on forever. And he says Europeans need to take care of themselves. They've been trying to outreach themselves, Jaydev. I think they've been trying to play a role bigger than themselves. And Ukraine was a fiasco because what these guys were doing was basically they were running the defense factories at full strength because they wanted more employment for their locals, and they were charging Ukraine for the same missiles and aircraft and other things. It is not just America who charged them, even the Europeans made money out of Ukraine. Zelensky made a fool of everybody. He made tons and tons of money, bought chalets in Switzerland, parked his money all over the world. Tomorrow, even if he has to disappear, he will lead a luxurious life for the next 10 generations. That's what he has done. I think the Ukrainian game is it's kind of no going nowhere because Putin will not agree to a ceasefire unless he gets guarantees that NATO will not be next door. And I think President Trump has realized it and told Zelensky very clearly, you need to give up more territories if you want peace.
Yeah, and also when we see how India fits into this picture, is that India has issued an official circular allowing BRICS nation to settle 100% of their trade transactions in Indian rupees. So this is a huge move coming from India, and what will happen to the US dollar in that case?
Well, President Trump has been threatening BRICS on the same reason, saying that if you try and replace the US dollar, we will come down hard on you. But President Trump possibly doesn't realize that India already traded in rupee trades with Iran earlier when Iran was under the sanctions regime, and also with Russia in the early days. We even had a ruble transaction with Iran. We had a barter transaction where we sold rice and we got oil. So President Trump should realize that with $37 trillion of debt, most of it which is held by China, it's game over for dollar. It does no longer going to be the same dollar which was the world trade's de facto standard. But no, today countries can trade on their own. They can barter, as I gave you an example before. They can sell on their own currency, and the countries can go abroad and all. Even our humble UPI, which enables Google Pay and Phone Pay and all other pay, Paytm and everybody, has displaced the world's financial biggies, including Visa and Mastercard. So much so that they went crying to the American senators and saying, "Oh, you need to stop these guys. They are kind of making a hell for us." That's exactly what it is. We have replaced them there, and we are carrying our UPI all over the world. So what are we doing, Jaydev? We are doing the same thing. We're saying if you go to Singapore, you can just use your UPI, Google Pay, or whatever it is, and make your payments in Indian rupees. You need not carry any dollar with you anymore. And the same goes for Dubai, and same goes for so many other countries. So slowly we are replacing the need to exchange our currency and saying now save your currency, pay from whatever you have through your UPI system. And that's what it is. And I think the way things are functioning, they know pretty well that we are the fourth largest economy in the world. We have a huge market of 140 crore people plus. They cannot ignore us. Okay, you can sell your McDonald's, you can sell your KFC, and you can sell your PepsiCo and Coke for all it's worth. But still, Thumbs Up is still the number one, even though Coke may own that brand today. But they are the number one. There's a lesson in that. Okay, that's what the Americans need to realize, that the world's financial strength or the financial pivot has changed from their economy to elsewhere in the world. They need to accept it. President Trump may kind of have all his bluff and bluster, but at the end of the day, the world has changed.
Yeah, and also the fact that Apple CEO Tim Cook he invested $100 billion for the Trump government, and also the fact that iPhone is widely sold in India as a
True.
huge market share in the smartphone market in India.
Yeah, it's obvious, isn't it, Jaydev? Because you look at a market like India, of the 140 crore, I assume 100 to 120 crore people have mobile phones. Even small school kids, even though legally they are not entitled to, they still have them because the parents want to track them. They want to see where they've gone. They want to check them with their doing the homework or not. Everybody, including my maid servant, has a smartphone today. You go to any sabjiwala, they have got a smartphone by default. India is a huge market. I'm not saying everybody can kind of aspire to own an iPhone. I don't have one. I don't intend to also, because I would need to sell my kidney to get that, and I will not. So obviously that is not going to happen. But there is a market for aspirational products like Tesla or like Harley Davidson or an iPhone. These are aspirational products, and that is where the entire thing is going to come about.
Yeah, And so, with the way with Trump is raising tariffs on India, so also there are obviously it is quite obvious that there's huge foreign funding to somehow remove Modi ji in power, as well as create discord within the BJP ranks, through foreign funding. And so, how do you see this? You see it through opposition parties funding, then many journalists they fund. So do you see this still? It's going to be done very aggressively now.
Yeah, I think what you saw in Bangladesh was a trailer for the actual movie to be run in India. First, you allege election malpractices, then you riot on the streets, and then you force the government to change. But unlike Bangladesh, the Indian situation is far, far different. We have an army that doesn't interfere in the political affairs. We have a judiciary which, for all its shortcomings, is still good enough to prevent such nonsense like what happened in Bangladesh. And obviously, that won't work here. We've seen that with even the most despotic people like Indira Gandhi when she imposed emergency, what happened to her after that. So India, it's not going to work because one, our media is also extremely strong, and they will kind of expose Rahul Gandhi and his team. They've already done it. Now it's going to be only question is how much funding did Rahul Gandhi get from Ford Foundation and others through the illegal sources, because they won't get it directly. He cannot get it directly. You need to fill in the FCRA rules and all that, but he would have obviously got it through a third party source. The government of India needs to investigate where the funds for all these rallies are coming from, who is funding it, who is underwriting the expenses for Rahul Gandhi's helicopter rides. All these need to be gone in. And sooner or later, Jaydev, mark my words, again you will see a lot of money that has flown into the system.
Yeah. So coming to the last point is that Asim Munir has threatened to hit the Reliance's Jamnagar Refinery. So, I mean, do you see anything, coming out of Pakistan? Will they again make the impulsive decision of, making an attack? Do you see that?
See, when you attack, you don't announce, you hit. We didn't say we're going to hit Sargoda, we're going to hit the Karana Hills, or we're going to hit Jacobabad. You hit. If you read The Art of War or read Chanakya Niti, they will tell you suspense is the most important thing. And what has the government done? The government of Pakistan is no longer existing. It is Asim Munir who's calling the shots. He sits with President Trump and has lunch, not Sabaz Sharif. So Pakistan as a failed state. Now, why is US interested so much in Pakistan? The game is out. The US State Department, I think the US government itself issued a note saying that there will be a briefing for American companies for opportunities for mineral exploration in Pakistan. So very, very obvious. They want rare earths from Balochistan, from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and all these areas. And they want American companies to be there. So when American companies will be there, the defense contractors will come in, and defense contractors will maintain Pakistan's army facilities. And that's exactly what happened in Afghanistan. That's exactly what happened in Iraq. And the same thing is going to happen in Pakistan because America wants the rare earths. And they are willing to sign a deal with even the devil. And as you saw in Russia, they've signed a deal with Putin on that, which is what Putin spoke about, the 20% increase in business. Because and Ukraine, the same thing. They've signed a deal with, Zelensky to drag out the rare earths from Ukraine. The same thing is going to happen in Pakistan. So the threat to hit Jamnagar is kiddish because Indians have already factored that in. I mean, for us, for all you know, the initial our nuclear plants were all in the coastal areas, if you recollect, because they need to be closer to the Sea Kalpakam, or even the earlier ones which started with Mumbai, were all closer to the coast and closer to Pakistan. Sooner or later, we realized and we started moving our nuclear assets away from the coast. I mean, the biggest of them is in Hyderabad, which is the nuclear fuel complex, which makes nuclear fuel for the entire Indian power system, the nuclear power system. They are based right in the center of in India, in Hyderabad. So Pakistan cannot reach it. So let Asim Munir threaten. For all he knows, Pakistan will not even exist if he tries and hits Jamnagar. But it's not just that he hits Mukesh Ambani's facility, but he is hitting the Indian ecosystem. And we have protected it with all our worth, and we will protect it. And Pakistan better realize that. I mean, this game of bluff and bluster, it doesn't work, Jaydev. It shows how immature the Pakistan army is. Because, I mean, a typical army chief will not make these kind of statements. Have you ever seen, I mean, for all you know, for all the American bluff and bluster, again with Americans, they don't make statements like this, nor do the Indian generals do it. Mature, I mean, you don't see the British generals saying this. they all, or the French for that matter, they all know that these kind of wars are not fought by making statements before. Everything needs to have a suspense, a Hitchcockian kind of suspense, and that is what it is all. And that's what we did during Operation Sindhu. We hit them where it hurts without telling him and telling them.
Yeah, also very interestingly, Jaishankar said that Taiwan is a part of China, and so he met the Chinese counterpart just recently. Have you heard
True.
about that as well?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the game is changing, Jay. The last 1 week to 10 days, the game has changed. Suddenly, China has cleared all the boring machines which are stuck in the Chinese port for the last 6 months. This is holding back the Mumbai Metro and many other projects in India. Many other welding machines and many other machines which we require were all held up because the Chinese felt that India was their enemy, but China also realized that now they are not going to sell those to US and Europe, so they might as well try and sell it to India, and that's exactly what is happening. And India too realized that there's a lot of catching up to do with China because let's admit it, we lost 30 to 40 to 50 years in the Nehruvian socialist model, which ended with Indira Gandhi and then a little bit till Rajiv Gandhi. It was only Narasimha Rao who opened up the Indian economy. Until then, we lost the manufacturing edge. We need to learn from China. Let us admit it, we might have problems with them at the border, but on the manufacturing side, I think China can help a lot in terms of India getting ahead. They also realize that India is a huge market. Of course, there's something we will never agree on. Telecom, for example, we'll never agree to their switching equipment being located in India. But there are many other things we can trade on, and China knows that very well. So your enemy's enemy is my friend, and that is what it's all about.
Yeah. Oh, that was a wonderful session, Sureshji, and we will see you once again next week. Thank you
Sure.
for coming. Until then,
Thank you.
Jai Hind and Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.